Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our YouTube channel, Red Bull Coffee and Crime. It is me and Arctic Fox, True Crime today.
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
Garnett is doing something today, guys. She's going to be on our lives later on. So we're just going to go ahead and cover this story, and she will be back with us later. Um, My heart is broken. I watched the video you did exposing. That was awful what she did. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate it. We just wanted, the truth out there, and it was a one and done. So you guys, this case today is coming out of New Zealand. Sixth Sense Amelia, one of our really, really, hold on, awesome supporters. She recommended a few cases, and I couldn't find the comments to where she put them, so I just looked up a case in New Zealand, and this one popped up, and it's really heartbreaking. Um, so it is about a woman named Angela Blackmoore, and she died August 17th, 1995. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and read the story, and then we can discuss what happened. So she ordered pizza on the night of August 17th, 1995. It was shortly before 9 p.m. The pizza driver who worked for Stallone's Pizza in New Brighton walked to her door and was carrying a small pizza. A young woman wearing a loose fitting white top opened the door, clutching a checkbook. Um, the woman had filled, and the woman is Angela. So Angela filled out a check, but she also left the payee space blank as she didn't know how to spell Stallone's. Um, so he showed her the spelling on the pizza box, and she ended up spelling it right. Gave her the pizza, and she went inside, locked her door. Um, the pizza deliverer person like walked as he drove off. He thought it was really odd that she didn't know how to spell the company's name. He didn't give it much thought, but the next morning the police ended up calling him, actually her, to come down to the station. um, so Lori and Angela Blackmoore recently learned that Angela was pregnant. Their relationship began in January 1995 when Angela was looking for a new direction in a previously troubled life. Her upbringing had been turbulent. She was not long out of a failed marriage. She was also fighting for custody of her 2-year-old son, Dylan. The relationship with Anderson, who is employed as a librarian's assistant and a technician at the University of Canterbury. Mm, is that I don't? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong. Canterbury, in nearly 10 years, her senior, was a move towards a more stable life. On August 17th, 1995, Anderson received a call mid afternoon saying he was needed at work from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. One of his colleagues had called in sick. The unexpected shift meant that Anderson would have to leave his wife, Angela, at their Vancouver Crest home on her own for the first time since she moved several months earlier. Angela was a very anxious person. She didn't want to be alone. So she was like, hey, can you drop me off at your mom's house? But he was like, you don't have to worry. You're fine. And he just went on his way to work. Um, Angela actually called her husband, her mother in law, shortly before 8 p.m. and told her she planned to stay up and watch a television program called Blue Healers, an Australian police drama. Hey, checking. Hey, hey, Six Sense. Okay. Um, so Da, da, da. Angela then called her mother at about 8:15, needing help with a check for a pizza. Um, Maree was expecting a call back around 9:35, but the call never came. Um, so her husband ended up leaving work at 11 p.m. He arrived home 20 minutes later. The front door was locked as expected, you guys. So the door was locked. Um, he goes in, he found the TV on, he grabbed a piece of pizza, and he continued up the hall into the kitchen and found Angela, who was wearing a white top and black pants, face down on the floor in a pool of drying blood. She had a gash on the back of her head, and blood was smeared on the nearby door. Anderson tried to check if she was breathing. Her skin felt cold. In shock, he phoned 111 before checking on Dylan, who was in bed fast asleep. So, be right back. Um, your pronunciation is good. I'll help you with words. Some New Zealand lingo can be difficult. Um, oh my gosh, Arctic, you can't leave me. Okay, so he saw Dylan, which was Angela's 2-year old son that she was fighting for custody of um, from her last marriage. He was still alive, and I guess he didn't hear anything. He was still sleeping. Angela was the victim of a frenzied attack. She had 39 knife wounds, 39, you guys, to her head, her chest, her abdomen, and her limbs. Her death was the first of 3 homicides on consecutive days in Christchurch. Edward Kelly, 19, was stabbed to death on Friday, and Bernard Noel Dell, 48, was killed in an axe attack on Saturday. The city hadn't experienced a similar spate of murders in many years, and police resources were stretched. Um, so, you guys, this is a murder that happened. I'm backstage. I don't see you. Hold on. Oh, there you are. um, it this is a murder that happened, and it wouldn't be solved until more than 25 years later. Angela had a troubled childhood, um, very dysfunctional family. She spent her teen years living in various foster homes. She would run away, sleep on the street. She did turn to drugs, drugs and prostitution, and associated with members of the city's underworld. In Angela's late teens, she met William Blackmoore when he was working as a bouncer at the Crazy Horse, a strip club owned by the infamous crime figure Terry Brown. Um, so they, that is Dylan's father, which is her 2-year old. They ended up marrying in March 1993. The relationship was very bad. It wasn't a happy marriage. Lots of fights, lots of verbal abuse on both sides. And he denied he ever hit her. The marriage only lasted 18 months. At the time of the murder, like I said, they were fighting over custody of Dylan. Um, so that leads us to them. They didn't know who did this, right? They were still looking for the murder or murders. The suspects. They couldn't find out who did it. It looked like there was no what is it called, Arctic?
Forensic evidence.
Yeah. Um very, very complicated case. They interviewed the husband, and he was at work. Um, the 2-year old, he was too little and he didn't know. I love to hear from you. I posted the links to ongoing cases on your timeline. I went back and I looked, but I don't know why I can't see the comments. It's very, very weird. Um, okay, so the only thing they did find at the scene as well, they did find a shoe print. Now, the shoe print they don't know if it was a coincidence or not. There was a guy that ended up falling off of a roof. I forgot the hotel's name. Um, Let me try to find it for you guys. It was the same. He had the same shoe size of the print they found at the murder scene. Um, but it didn't lead them anywhere. So that was like about the only thing that they found. Mm. Also, which is really sad, is Angela's mother passed before they ever got justice for Angela. That breaks my heart in these cases when a family dies, and they're still looking for justice. They never got it for her. So years later, you guys, more than years, this was 25 plus years. A man comes out. His name is Jeremy Powell, and he admits to killing Angela. He says he was paid $10,000 after he struck pregnant mother Angela 39 times in her kitchen. Um, he said that he was paid $10,000. Um, the payment had been arranged by others. So he was sentenced on April 1st, and what was it, Arctic? He got like 10 years
A
only.
minimum of 10 years
Uh,
for, he's been free on the streets for over 25 years after committing this atrocious crime, and he gets a minimum of 10 years. Now, I guess he could serve more than that, but I think this man should have been given an automatic life sentence. He took the life of not only Angela, but her unborn child.
yeah, that's two murders right there, and he was walking free for that long. Like nothing. Like he didn't do anything. Hey, Slug. Christchurch has had a sketchy criminal underground for a long time. International airport. Ugh, this does sound really sketchy. Now that I want to look into the other murders that took place around that time as well. So let's get to who paid him. Like, why? You know, I mean, did this person know? Had to have known her. Angela Blackmoore. I mean, if he only got 10 years, I can't even imagine how many years the other people got. That's ridiculous.
What's really sad is that her boyfriend at the time, he said that it was like living with a disability going on without her all that time, as if he had had his left arm cut off, and he stayed in the same house that him and Angela had lived in all that time and continued to be a part of Dylan's life. So he was truly dedicated to Angela and her child.
Yeah, he still has the night she was murdered, she had got a picture frame, the one that we're seeing, and she was going to give it to him as a present. And he ended up finding it later on, and he still has that hung up, and he still lives in that same house and right down the street from Dylan, like really close. So he's still in his life, which is really good. Um, and also, the detectives spoke with the people that did this in the weeks and months after the killing, but didn't list them as suspects. Um, it was Jeremy Powell, Rebecca Wright, Meldrum. They were in a relationship at the time of the murder, and they both knew Angela. So I don't know why we're not really hearing any of the about the other people involved and where this $10,000 came from. Like I could not really even find anything on it other than that guy got the 10 years. Um,
I'm trying to find what the other lady got, his
yeah, that's what
accomplice
I'm
in
trying
this.
to.
I know that she was supposed to be sentenced, but let's see, she was supposed to go to trial in February after the dude got sentenced, but I haven't been able to find out what she was actually sentenced to.
Me neither. I'm trying to look for it right now. Mm,
Oh, she faced trial in May. Let's see here. Hold on.
In the May of last May. Idea.
So there's June. Let's see if she was.
And you guys, they had a $100,000 reward, um, leading to whoever did this. That was the largest reward that they've ever put out there. Ugh, this makes me sick. People were just walking free. Um, our public record, local or national newspaper, court records, you have to apply under Official Information Act. My niece's dad was murdered, premeditated, 14 years. He's just been released. The sentences are 14 years. I don't understand how New Zealand, ew, can someone get whoever this 69XX site is out of the chat? Please. My youngest boy broke his wrist last week. My oldest was sent home with COVID yesterday. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Slug. Prayers to you and your family. Are you guys sick as well? The sentences here are, yeah, I can't even imagine. 14 years for a murder and then 10 years for this murder. That's bullshit. Oh, thank you for blocking them. I don't. um, yeah, I'm not finding anything on it. Angela, that just shows how different our laws are and our court systems from different countries. I mean, 14 years for murdering somebody. That's insane. Yeah, okay, so I found he was a oh shoot. He was a amateur contract killer. Jeremy Powell, 45, was sentenced at the High Court in Christchurch this morning to life imprisonment with a minimum non parole period of 10 years. Okay, so he got life imprisonment, but I'm confused on the whole 10-year thing without parole. So he would get out in 10 years and he wouldn't be on parole. He would just get out. Um, so the husband described this as a vicious and pointless murder, saying that Blackmoore was like a lamb to the slaughter with no defense. You didn't care who you killed, just for the money. But he thanked Powell for now, nearly 25 years on, for trying to put things right. It's been a long time, but I respect that. Anderson was looking forward to a life with Blackmoore, saying their future looked bright and exciting with a baby on the way. He described her as his true love, adding that she had turned her life around and was focused on being a good mom. The court heard how Blackmore's family had many unanswered over the last 2 decades, asking, what were her last words? Did she suffer for long? They questioned whether Powell has confessed for the right reasons. However, his defense counsel, Donald Matthews, described a man full of remorse, someone who is something of an enigma, having lived the last 24 years of basically an upstanding citizen. Oh, wow. Bullshit. Someone who is universally well spoken of, loved, and trusted. What he did nearly 25 years ago has weighed on him very heavily, Matthew said. He feels a great sense of relief now that his crime is out in the open. Oh, who gives a fuck about him feeling a great sense of relief? What about the family? What about her mother that died and never found out what happened? Today, Powell is a very different person than the young man 25 years ago who involved himself with the wrong sort of people. The court heard how Powell had gone to Blackmore's house a week before the murder to kill her, but he found he couldn't go through with it. He didn't have it in him. Matthew said extreme pressure was placed on him to carry out the contract killing. He ended up in a situation where he was completely in over his head, absolutely terrified, and felt he had no choice but to follow through with this horrific killing. Powell was not a cold blooded hitman. What? Crown prosecutor Pip Curry said it was a premeditated murder with planning have gone on for some months. We still love him. Powell's parents, Dennis Judith Powell, both aged 70, were in his court this morning. Despite their son pleading guilty, they still struggle to believe he is a killer. We still can't believe it at all, Dennis says. You mule it over in your head and, you think, what if? And I sort of think maybe in a fit of anger, he'd hit somebody with a baseball bat, but I can't even really see that. His mother sure can. For her, it all seems so surreal. We all love him still. You can't stop that, Dennis continues. But the stabbing, that's just not him at all. It seems to have been a frenzy. I just don't think it was him who did that. Knowing him, that's just not the sort of thing he could do. Okay, so they're trying to make it sound like he didn't do it, or he was scared into doing it, or he's covering up for somebody. Because it says that the 48-year-old woman was also a part of the killing. She had also been charged with murder, but denies having anything to do with it. She pleaded guilty, not guilty. And then another person was charged, a 47-year-old man, um, which I don't even see their charges. That's insane. Bullshit. All right. They get prisoner rehabilitation afterwards too, housing, social services. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I can't say that these people, um, I mean, going on with life for 25 years after a murder, I believe that there's some crime done in between them. He didn't just murder somebody and then turn this perfect person afterwards. Um, Definitely think he should get way longer than 10 years. Justice to me was not served in this at all. I will finally be going live in the next couple days. I won't say when, but stay Sluggy. I'm not getting anybody's notifications. So like share it or let us know. Arctic, are you getting notifications? Hi, Lightning, the way home. How are you doing? Okay, here they are.
My notifications are hit or miss. And I think that we also need to remember that this little boy had to grow up without his mother all this time too.
Yeah.
So there were multiple victims besides, that's what people tend to forget. It's not just the person that's murdered that's a victim. Her fiance, her son, the unborn child were all victims in this.
Yeah, they're not thinking about their lives and what they've had to go through. The Dylan has had to suffer without his mom. He lost his mom, and he was there. First time in your life. I appreciate you coming by. Um, it's definitely a sad story all around. I just wanted to share this case with everybody. I I want to look more into New Zealand's laws and how they go about stuff. Sixth Sense posted Jamie Ko Koy Ky. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is the one I was telling you about, Arctic. So I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, and New Zealand's not the only ones that have the messed up laws and sentencing, because I've seen several cases up in Canada where people get
Oh
a
yeah.
life sentence, air quotes, and they're out after 20 years. So,
Oh my gosh, what are those one the what they call them, the Ken and Barbie murderers or
yes,
whatever?
yes.
She's already out and she started a whole new family, I think. I've been down the dumps with Kayla Montgomery's plea deal, so I haven't. Oh gosh, I was wondering about that the other day. Um, I thought they didn't end up charging her with anything. I'm gonna have to go watch your videos. New Hampshire. I used to live in New Hampshire. I love it there, especially in the winter. All the snow. But yeah, you guys. So this was the case of um, Angela Blackmoore. She was 21 and 10 weeks pregnant when she passed away. It took more than 25 years for her murder to be solved, and I feel like justice still has not been served. Um, I hope they get what's coming for them in prison. I highly doubt it. They'll be free walking around once again. Um, I will be down in New Hampshire next weekend to help at a memorial bench for Harmony. Aw, you have to take pictures and stuff so we can see it. But yeah, Arctic, do you have anything else to say? This was just a quick, a quick one, not what we're used to.
No, I mean, I really didn't have a lot of time to do research on this one, but I mean, I just cannot believe that that the dude only has to do like 15 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. And and then they kept the accomplice. There was actually two accomplices from what I saw, but they never released the names of the
Yeah,
other two people. So,
yeah. I wonder why that is. And they're old. I mean, they're both in their 40s. And um, hold on, I think I just got the girl's name, but it doesn't really tell the story. Like, why did he say that she paid him $10,000? I guess they knew her, but what? I'm confused on. I mean, maybe the $10,000 thing didn't happen. They were dating, but hold on, Matthews. I don't know where the name went, but yeah, these two other people. I want to find out what happened. Sixth Sense. If you ever find out what happened, can you let us know? Because it might be different, since you're over there. Um, yes, the cases that need stiff sentencing never get it, and the cases of nothing are heavily exactly. It's definitely sad. I'm not sure if you have seen the visuals. I did, Sluggy. Children's bodies found in suitcases. Yeah, that's one of the other ones that I wanted to look at. Thank you. Yeah, just let us know because I'm really, really curious now. I'm gonna have to really dig deep, but if I can't find anything, maybe you can. How sick. And just the family. I mean, him having holidays, spending holidays with family, birthdays, and this family was just sitting, suffering, not knowing who murdered their loved one. I was invested in Harmony as well. So sad. Oh gosh, suitcases. Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming to the live. If you haven't subscribed to Arctic Fox True Crime, Checking Convictions, Sluggy Sleuth, um, please subscribe to them. They do an amazing job. And we are actually going to be on later to speak about a few cases. So we appreciate you coming by. And everybody have a blessed day. Bye, Arctic.
Bye.
See you later.
Yes, ma'am.